You've seen them, right? For centuries, they've been piercing the sky, totally dominating the skylines of cities and towns all over the world. These buildings are so much more than just stone and glass. They're incredible monuments to faith, to art, and to human ambition. So today, let's dive into the world of cathedrals.
So when you see one of these massive, gorgeous churches, you probably think, that's a cathedral. But is it really about the size or how fancy it is? What's the one thing that actually makes a church a cathedral?
Well, it turns out the answer has nothing to do with how tall the spires are. It's really all about its job description. A cathedral is basically the main office, the headquarters for a bishop. And that bishop is in charge of a whole church district, which is called a diocese. So you could have a gigantic, incredibly ornate church that isn't a cathedral and a much smaller, plainer one that is. It all comes down to whether it has the bishop's official chair or cathedra.
But of course, their role was so much bigger than just being a bishop's home base. Historically, especially back in medieval times, the cathedral was the absolute, undisputed center of public life. It was almost always placed right in the heart of the city for a very good reason.
Just try to picture it. You've got one building that acts as the town square, the marketplace, and the community center. People didn't just show up here for Mass on Sunday. No way. This is where you'd go for public meetings, to do business, to celebrate, basically to mark every important moment. It wasn't just a place of worship. It was the city's living room.
Now, even though cathedrals come in all these different styles, a lot of them actually share a kind of common structural DNA. There's this foundational blueprint that architects have followed for centuries, and once you understand it, you can really start to appreciate these incredible spaces.
And the absolute core of that blueprint is this one simple but really powerful shape. The vast majority of cathedrals are laid out in the form of a cross. And this wasn't just some random design choice. It was a physical symbol of the Christian faith, something you could see from the sky and really feel as you walked through it.
Okay, so let's do a quick tour of this layout. You'd usually walk in from the west, into this long main aisle. That's called the nave. The arms of the cross that stretch out to the sides, those are the transepts. And the spot right in the middle where they all meet is called the crossing, which is often right under a huge tower or dome. Then, all the way at the other end, the eastern end, you've got the apse. That's the sacred part, where the main altar is. It's like a journey mapped out in stone.
Right, so that cross shape was the starting point. But things got really interesting during the golden age of cathedral building, from about 1000 to 1500 AD. This was a time of incredible evolution in architecture, with all these different styles popping up, each with its own unique philosophy and feel.
This whole period was just this incredible explosion of new ideas. You had the Byzantine style with its stunning mosaics and massive domes. Then came Romanesque, which was super solid, grounded, almost like a fortress with its thick walls and round arches. That evolved into the soaring, light-filled Gothic style we all think of, a total engineering marvel. And finally, the Renaissance looked back to the classical world, bringing this sense of harmony and human-scale design back into the picture.
And if you really want to get inside the heads of the people who built in the Gothic style, this quote says it all. It wasn't just about building bigger for the sake of it. It was a spiritual mission. Everything, the towering vaults, the pointed arches, the insane height, was designed to pull your eyes and your spirit upward toward heaven. And this contrast really gets to the heart of two totally different ways of thinking. You have the Gothic style, which came out of Northern Europe, just striving for divine height and light. And then you have the Renaissance, which looked to ancient Greece and Rome for inspiration, all about harmony and balance, often choosing these huge classical domes instead of pointy spires. It's this fascinating split between reaching for the heavens and perfecting life here on Earth.
The cool thing is, these styles aren't just stuck in some old history book. They have left behind this incredible legacy of living, breathing landmarks, breathtaking buildings that you can still visit and walk through today all across the world.
I mean, Europe is basically a giant museum for these things. You've got these iconic Gothic cathedrals like Canterbury in England, or the mind-blowingly intricate Cologne Cathedral in Germany. And then you have the absolute masterpiece of Renaissance architecture, St. Peter's Basilica in Rome, with that incredible dome designed by Michelangelo himself.
And this architectural DNA didn't just stop at the edge of Europe. These styles crossed the Atlantic and found new homes in North America. It's pretty amazing to see a building like St. Patrick's Cathedral, with its classic Gothic design, standing right in the middle of all the modern skyscrapers in New York City. It's a direct connection back to those medieval builders in France and Germany. When you really boil it down, these cathedrals were built to tell a powerful story, a story told through stone, glass, and just sheer scale. And that story has been echoing for 1,000 years. It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? As we build the great monuments of our own time, what stories will they be telling 1,000 years from now?